So guess what happened, folks? Yeah, all I did, I was having trouble reading my laptop, so I moved the screen just a little bit, and when I slid the computer, it bumped the cord. And because it bumped the cord, I lost my camera. So now we're playing that game where I started the new show, and I'm waiting to see how long it takes for you folks to catch on that I'm in a new live stream. John Collins, thank you for showing up, Superplex. And so we begin again. Um, wow, Shunna says bumped cord, likely story. Yes, I bumped the cord. And this was a very likely story. That's what happened. Mike Leva says, Jonah, I sent something like a million banners crying at once. Oh, that sounds like something that Obi-Wan would have said. Keithy says, this will be my second thumbs up tonight. Tom Murray says, trash. House of Alex says, hi, guys. Could someone do me a favor? Could someone go to the old stream, if it's still broadcasting, go to the old stream and tell people there that we've started a new stream? It seems like most of you already caught on, but I would be honored if someone could do that. Superbook says, what did you expect? The laptop is made in China. Now be nice. Tommy says, hello, everyone. Superbook says, hello, the house. Yes, consider yourself saying hello to. Mike Silva says, well, let's just go to some bullwhips and pose for the Maplethorpe. Wow. Mike Silva's on fire tonight. Shannon says, already done. Thrash, thank you. Wedgemean says, we're back. Mike Silva says, Crow, do you like the welcome back, Carter? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Tug says, aha, you are. Here you are. Aha, here you are. Yes, it wasn't buffering. And when I slid my laptop over, I bumped. For some reason, I have a very delicate connection to my camera, and you can't just snap it back in. Once it goes out, you have to like log out and go back in. There's probably a way to do it. But the best thing I could probably do is just not move the laptop when I'm trying to broadcast. Note to self: stop touching things. Ted says you can't get rid of me that easy, or you can't lose me that easy. I've said that many times myself. Ziplik says we lost half the audience. Well, I'm sure we'll get them back. Again, maybe Zuber, could you go to the old chat, and if they're there, tell them that we've restarted again. Keithy says, I said in the other video, I'm waiting for the sound that you're going to start a new channel. Hit the like button quickly, Z. Lance James says, buffering. I'm buffering again? I was hoping that would have been taken care of with the new stream. Shonda says, other chat is completely empty now. Oh, Zuberlik says, buffering. I'm buffering again? That's weird. You know what? Earlier today, I had a problem. There was a power failure, and we lost internet access here on the Cape. The inclement weather might be doing it again. Oh, Tug says no buffering in my end. That's good. Denny Staten is here says greetings from South Carolina. What's happening? Well, your timing is perfect. We actually I knocked the cord out of my camera, so I had to shut down and come back. So this is actually my second attempt tonight. Keithy says, never underestimate the power of duct tape. Ooh. You know what? Couldn't hurt. Zubook says, Gremlins, Danny. Tom Marie says, I buffered the first time, not here now. Well, that's good. Oh, and Danny's giving us links to Wedgemine. Thank you. Tug says somebody fed those Mogwai after midnight. After midnight. You're going to feed a lot of Mogwai. John Collins says, Zuper, since you seem to be on my same wavelength about Dave's membership tiers being super frugal, what is the most you would be willing to part with should be at the top level of Dave's membership. What means is BRB. Danny's giving us another link. Great. Gary Carpenter says, I'm here. Timing is perfect. Hopefully we'll avoid the technical difficulties. Keithy says, you look and sound the same as always. Thank you. Tug says, Danny, thanks, Danny, you rock. Says, I am not rich, John. I would max out at $9.99. Well, that's very generous. And again, yes, Dave was discussing his membership tiers. He doesn't want to alienate anybody, but he's sad that some of us don't get to actually do all the fun things that Dave provides us. So he's trying to come up with an equitable solution. Tom Memory says someone must have had Tracy's chocolate chip cookies there, I guess. Well, yeah, because she uses baked beans instead of chocolate chip. Pardon me. Speaking of which, I hope Tracy catches on that we're doing a new show. I'm sure she will. I'm sure she will. In the interim, we'll just have to have fellowship and whatnot. Oh, by the way, for people who missed it, by the way, I have a special treat tonight. My wife actually got me this. It's TV Guides, a trivia book. So I'm going to take a leaf from Dave and actually get questions from a professional source. For a change, we'll see if that's any better. Sibling says they say Thunder soda sold at Walmart is a guest. Thunder, I've never heard of Thunder. I've heard of Jolt, but that had like twice the caffeine and sugar. I used to ask for a caffeine-free diet Jolt. It's a concept. Sibling says, "Oh no, we're doomed." Gary Cameron says, "You are on replay on my other phone." Now that's style. You're watching my old live chat on your phone, one phone, and this show on another. That is so cool. Gary Cameron says, "Thank Z, thank you, Violet." Let's just see what's going on here. Well, we're at 10. I think we maxed out at 12 on the other channel, on the other show. That is. We're waiting for Tracy Rothmeyers and Tom Lemery. No, Tom Lemery. I know you're here. Terrell Eugene Bellinger. Hopefully they catch on very, very, very soon. Tom Lemery says drinks that thunder. I woke last night to the sound of thunder. Keith says I always made the brownie mix for my fraternity brownies. They added a special price spices. And then they got baked. Gee, what could that have special price spice be? Oswald says Thomas here. Yes, I said Tom, I meant Teb. Tom, a Teb. Darrell Johnson is here. I see 10 watching and 9 likes. Nothing wrong with your math. Other brother Darrell, thank you for joining us. Jerry says, no, it's the same show that's on now. Oh, so you staggered it. Oh, now that's style. Linus Given says, Thrash, you're good now. No buffering. Good, good. Danny says, looks like no notification bell went out. It's weird. I sent a post day before yesterday. Somebody says Thunder Thunder produces thunder in the underpants. Thunder in the under, huh? I got it. I think I know what you're driving at. Keith says, I buy Dr. Thunder at Walmart. The diet, it's excellent and tastes just like Dr. Pepper, if not better. Cindy D is here. Says hello, everyone. Thank you for showing up, Cindy D. Always nice to see you. Dilly Dan's blog says shared goods. A lot of people saying hi to Cindy, as they should, as they should. House of Alex says, I got the notification post. Oh, that's good. So that's the weird thing about notification posts. Sometimes you get them and sometimes you don't. I think it depends on how many notifications you're getting. Sometimes they get clogged and backlogged, so you don't see the important ones, like moi. So let's see. No real topic for trivia tonight, by the way. I'm thinking basically, although Teb, I hope he comes by because Teb actually was posting a trivia question, but we haven't seen him back as is yet. Denny has given us another link to House of Alex. Thank you, by the way. And Tug says we are all at the mercy of the algorithm whims. Mike Silva says Beavis and Butthead do America reference pawns. Um, which one? And that reminds I had there was speaking of algorithms and everything to do with computers. For those of you who don't know, I signed up for a computer course that was supposed to start on the 15th of May. Really looking forward to it. Not only will I hopefully be able to master this laptop and be able to do a lot more of things with it that I can't do presently, I might even be able to get a job where I'm not as standing on concrete for as many hours a day. That'd be nice too. I'm getting a little long on the tooth for that. Unfortunately, this class has been postponed. The gentleman who runs it had a medical issue, and they're hoping to get it going again very, very, very soon. But I will keep you posted. But at the moment, it's going to take a little bit longer to get the computer course. But hey, I've gone this long without a computer course, so we'll just have to see what we can do. Keithy says, I got the bell both times. You need to check your settings. I know you know what to do. Cindy's saying hello to everybody, and that's very nice. Gee, I hope Ted and Tracer of Myers catch on, but they usually do. They usually do. Um, well, someone said that old post is completely Kaputnik now, so I know that it's still stuck there waiting for me to show up. Now, I have a really stupid question. Could any of you guys, when the mic went out, could you guys still hear me? Because I was asking questions and not getting any responses. I wasn't sure if there was a certain amount of lag time or if somehow when I kicked up the mic, I also lost sound too, which doesn't make any sense, but what does? But let me know in the comments if you guys could still hear me even when the mic went out. Gary Carpenter says, Cindy, I insist that you can call me GC, please. GC or not GC? Shannon says, you went out entirely on my end. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. When I broke the contact, it broke the whole shlabang. Tom Memory says, sometimes YouTube is sneaky and they take you off the notification bells and so you don't get them. Someone else had said that to me, by the way, and I'm not sure why. I think they just like to show you who owns who. Ziploc says, I don't remember the microphone going on. Oh, so you guys could hear me. Well, that's something. But, well, either way, it doesn't matter. We're all back on now. Jenny says, funny, I got 4 phones and more channels than you have. Hair, only 3 channels. Got a notification. Strange. Tug says, all I heard was move the laptop and then nothing. Yeah, that was actually my last line. I'm going to move my laptop and boom. That's pretty much what happened. Daryl John says, when did the mic go off? Oh yeah, Daryl. Before you got here, I was actually already up and running on another post. As you probably just deduced, I went to move my laptop so it could be a little closer so I could read it more easily. And when I did, I bumped the cord connected to my camera, and then everything went kaputnik. Okay, John Cullen says, Zuper, I'd do 15, but then to be fair to Dave, right now, Dave is the only membership I am a part of. However, by God, if Bob would ever did obtain membership options, I would be at the highest for both of them. That is so awesome. Again, I have to have the subscriptions. I have to be over 1,000 subscribers, and I'm hovering. I actually lost another subscriber. I have no idea what I'm doing. Although I might do what some people do and do like what do they call them, tip jar, that type of thing, where it's an outside source where you guys could just little pop some buckaroos in there. But we'll think about that. To be honest, I feel before I should really get tipped, I should do have maybe a little more quality product. So when I'm done with the computer course, I can actually produce far more professional videos that don't bleep out, then we'll revisit the matter possibly sooner. Keithy says, no, it looks like a polar bear in a snowstorm. Uh-oh. Did I go white again? Gary Carpenter says, next time when the other Gary show up on here, just refer to me like that. Yeah, no, that has caused some confusion in the past. I know. Zubik says, very generous of you, John. You are a true believer. Tug says, Kaputnik was never as famous as its big brother, Sput. I got it right away. Gary Carpenter says, Z. Who are you, Stanley? Excelsior. Keith E says, as Danny Stanton says, hit the damn Little Bill. Little Bill. Oh, and you spelled it Danny Satan instead of Danny Staten. I can't make myself believe that was an accident. Tom the Hungry Jerk is here, says, just listening at work. Well, thank you for showing up in any of your forums. Shannon says, Thrash's laptop is HAL 9000. What are you doing, Bob? I can't allow that, Bob. Stream, Bob. Basically. Well, it's my own damn fault. Zubik says, Sput Mackenzie, unapologetic. And then he goes on to say, I could only dream, Gary. And he also referenced the Danny Satan that I saw. Well, we're up to 14 people, so I think there's a lot of people here who are not posting in. Mike Silva says, is this gonna be like the ending of Motel Hell? Gosh, I hope not. Gosh, I hope not. But we will see. And let's see what else we've going on. Mike Silva says the Toxic Avenger movies. I only saw the first one, but I love the first one. Daryl Jones says, hit the like button. It's free. Mike Silva says, I'm confused. Join the club. Tom Lemon says, isn't it Spuds Mackenzie Zuper? Well, yes, but Tug mentioned Sput as in Sputnik. So Sput Mackenzie is sort of a word play. Jenny Skaten says, LOL, I love that movie, Motel Hello. Tug says, yeah. Mike Silva says, Bert Wilson, I thought you said if we destroyed the brain, it'd die, Frank. Frank, it worked in the movies. Bert Wilson, well, it ain't working now. Frank, Freddy, you mean the movie lied? One of the best exchanges to one of my favorite zombie movies, Return of the Living Dead. You're supposed to hit the brain. I hit the blanking brain. Let's see what else we got going on here. Shannon says, I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. I'm half crazy, over the love of you. Gary Cameron says, yeah, the yolks are on you, but I'm bumped. Tom says, cooking lasagna and raviolis. Ooh, yumsies. Cindy D says, so, untoward? Once more, unto the breach, dear friends. Gary Carver says, I just finished my dinner. Zublik says, this live stream is loaded with yokels, but I'm bumped. Get yokels, Gary, the local yokels. And Daryl Jones says, I'll be having a fried egg sandwich again. You can afford eggs? Tom says, cooking Italian food, getting fat again. I'm getting fat still. Well, we're up to 17. I really wanted to wait until Tracy and Teb got back to us. Wish there was somebody could let them know that we were up and going again. But now we're down to 16. That's weird. It goes whip-a-dip-a-dip-a-dip. But I'm going to give it a few more minutes. I'll wait till at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, I'm going to start the trivia game. Does that sound good to you? Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Bob. That sounds good to us. You sure you want to start at 8? Yeah, we'll start at 8. Okay, we'll start at 8. So until then, and Gary Cameron says, DJ, I just add ham. Yeah, ham and eggs. Yeah, You can add pig meat to pretty much anything, and it won't be kosher, but it will be delicious. Gary, and then Gary says, if they show up, they usually do. Um, unless, well, maybe Tracy did say something about being busy. Maybe she was just stopping by to say hi. And but Teb usually catches on that we set back up another show. That it wouldn't be like me to just kind of bip. But well, as you say, if they show up. But either way, guys, if you end up missing the show tonight and end up watching in replay, just know that we certainly waited valiantly for you. Denny's Jane says, that's what I have for breakfast every morning. Fried eggs on toast with ham and cheese. Oh, that sounds delicious. I have a weakness for fried ham and cheese sandwiches. I do like a grilled cheese with ham in the middle. Little mustard or that turkey sauce. Delicious. And again, you can't go wrong adding eggs. Tug says the croquet, madam. Crockett, madam. The croak, madam. However you pronounce it. Tom says, getting fat, I'm almost a B cup, but I'm bump. Zuko says, Tracy won the magazine. Yes, I heard. Gary Cabra says, Diaz, next time use sausage. Yeah, I can see that. That'll work. Keithy says, sorry, Danny, not say starting Satan, whatever Surrey wants to spell. I still like your channel. That's very, very nice of you. Lance James says, just texted Tracy Thresh. That never even occurred to me. I got her on Facebook, but I don't have her number. So Lance, thank you very, very, very much. Now we have just some way of getting in touch with Teb. But Lance, thank you above and beyond the Call of Duty. Sean says, Denny, Satan doesn't eat sausage. Denny Satan says, I alternate the meat, sometimes sausage. Excellent. Tug says, we all know Danny isn't Satan. That's Emily. Danny says, or bacon. Oh, bacon's better on everything. Tom says, ciao, gotta get back to work. I'll listen, thank you. I'm glad you can actually stay with us, at least in spirit. Mike Silva says, Han Solo, would you look at Lumpy? He's sure grown, huh? And I think his voice is changing. Lumpy. And Solo, come on, I'm just teasing. Shannon says, Tug, good to know that about Emily. Tug says, see you later, Tom Hungry. Yes, Tom, of course. Mike Silva says, it's like an early Christmas. Superlook says, speaking of bacon, have you ever visited Beacon Hill T-Ponds? Yes, I have been to Beacon Hill, and there's no bacon on it. But yes, it's a very nice part of Boston. Garrett Evans says, Sean, you can use turkey sausage. I actually like turkey sausage. Mike Silva says, Gary, we made a Doc Mac. Shannon says, to GC, yeah, turkey sausage works. Danny says, that's what the teacher used to call me. Danny Staten, the devil Satan. Tug says, Star Wars Christmas special flashbacks. Gary Carpenter says, Sean, it sure does. Mike Silva says, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Arguably my favorite episode of WKRP. Oh, and a little secret, wild turkeys can fly. I have wild turkeys in my area, and they fly all the time. The domestic ones, they fatten them up, so their wing to fat ratio doesn't permit them to fly. But wild turkeys do fly. They mounted a counterattack. Cindy D says, LOL Mike Silva. Tug says, all this talk of fried ham and egg sandwiches makes me need Danny Staten, but a bum. John Collins says, Bob, I know you're an avid reader of history, So maybe you have an answer to this question. Did Malcolm X and Martin Luther King ever debate each other? If so, was it recorded somewhere for posterity? I don't believe they ever debated. They certainly met and talked. I don't know if it was ever recorded. The two men did meet. I can't remember the exact details, but I don't recall any like actual debate. Tom Memory says just like they did in WKRP in Cincinnati, Mike. Exactly like that. Exactly like that. So because I understand Beacon Hill was populated by affluent Irish Catholics. Is that true? The actual demographics I'm not entirely sure of, but again, it's basically where the government buildings are. Um, but as far as the actual residential area, I think it's just affluent Bostonians. Let's just see. Dennis Jaden says the best wild turkey comes in a bottle. Teb! Oh, thank goodness you're here. One, welcome back. And two, I shall now read your question. Teb says, which actor with an iconic signature role do you prefer better? Jim Varney, Paul Rubens, Vicki Lawrence, or Tyler Perry? That's tricky. I would probably have to go with Paul Rubens, Pee Wee from Pee Wee Herman. I would probably there was something about his character, the character where he's going with the character that I found gripping. I love the stuff he did, um, like the HBO special and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to go with that. And so glad you made it back. Apparently, a lot of other people are psyched as well. I see a lot of people having fellowship with Teb. Keith E says a pig talking to a chicken about breakfast. The pig says, "I understand you're donating, but to me, it's a commitment." Yes, because the chicken gives its eggs and the pig gives its life. Ken Wilkinson, or should I say Mr. Wilkinson? Mr. Wilkinson is here. I'm going to keep calling you Ken though, just out of habit. But says, "Good evening, Bob. So glad you could make it, Ken. Excellent." And let's see what else we get going here. Can you believe that Carol Burnett will be 90 years old in a few days? That blows my mind. It really does. I find it really hard to believe that, but of course, she's been around since I was a kid. That's a long time ago. Doug says Gripping and Paul Rubens urge to make un-PG joke. Rising. Zublik says there was a show on CBS in the 70s entitled Beacon Hill. It only lasted a few episodes, but it was an American network's attempt to match sophistication. Oh, upstairs, downstairs. I can see that. I don't recall the show, but I can certainly see that. Oh, Gary Carver says Dame Edna died yesterday at 89. Yes, Dame Edna died. Moment of silence. She'll be sorely missed. Tom Newman says I like Jim, Vicky, and Tyler. So basically everybody except Paul Rubens. Hey, free country, free country. Shannon says Rubens was also the hamburger dude in that one Cheech and Chong movie, Nice Dreams. The one, I'm not sorry. Emily Miller says, good evening, y'all. Emily, so glad you could make it. Very, very glad to see you here. Dennis Gayton has given us another link. Thank you very much. I'm just going to skim down. Zubik says Australians and cross dressing is an odd combination. I just found out there was an auntie, someone or other. Terry Talks Movies was talking about an Australian sketch comedy show where the main character was a cross dresser. And I can't recall the actual name, but it sounds like a riot. But anyway, I said we'll start the trivia game at 8. It's now 8:06. Apparently, Tracy isn't going to be giving us a second shot. Oh, I will read this one question from Ted. What's your favorite non-American TV show of all time? Doctor Who. I have to go with Doctor Who. There were some other British shows I liked. There were some other shows from other countries which I also liked, but hands down, Doctor Who. I loved that show when I was a kid. I still do. Zublik says Monty Python. That one's great too. Oh, Tug's is too busy eating her cookies. I would imagine with baked beans. Um, Mike Silva said, "What was your favorite episode of GI Joe?" I don't think I have one. I'm afraid they all kind of blend together. Tug says Blackadder for me. Blackadder was an absolutely amazing show. I loved all of them. I think the ones set during the Georgian period were probably my favorite. That's a great one as well. John Collins says, "Oh, Mike Silva says Xena the Warrior Princess. Was that a Canadian show or something? I thought that was American, but Canadian would be a foreign show." Um, John Collins says, "Bob, actually have to agree with you because the character Paul of Pee Wee Herman worked on so many levels as submersive, Bob, as you would say, it was a little naughty." Tom Larry says, "My bad, Tracy isn't here yet." Oh, long story. She was. I dropped out because of a technical problem. What else is new? And she hasn't rejoined us yet. Oh, Cindy D says, "Kids in the Hall, Canadian. I saw them live in Boston about 20 years ago." Terrell Eugene Bellinger says, "Xena is American, but filmed in New Zealand." Oh. Well, if it's made by an American production company, it would still be an American show, regardless of the fact if it was made outside the border. But if you want to make that your favorite foreign show, who am I to argue? Sean Ennis says, "Emily Miller, we were joking when someone accidentally spelled Danny Staten as Danny Satan instead. It moved on to you somehow before you got here." Yeah, somebody said, "Well, Danny is Satan," and somebody said, "No, it's actually Emily Miller." So now you're up to speed. But it was all said in jest and in good humor, in a healthy, non threatening kind of way. Tug says, "Yes, give me that delicious watch time, M. A like would be nice too." Oh, yeah, I helped, by the way. Lance Draven says, "Emily Dave had Superfan stream today as well." Gary Carpenter says, "Pee Wee Herman was in the second Batman movie." Yes, he was. He was Oswald Cobblepot's father, more commonly referred to as the Penguin. Watching says, "Back, sorry, working on dinner." No worries, no worries. We're glad to have you back. And on that note, I think we're going to start the trivia game. And today, something a little different. My wife bought me this. It's a TV guide book of trivia. I decided to take a leaf from Mr. Sundstrom and take the questions from there. So I'm going to try this. If this works, I might do it again. I might do a little from column A and a little from column B. But regardless, Emma says that I'm not being called Satan. I've been called worse. But tonight's trivia game is going to be from that, and I will start this trivia game now. And it's mostly going to be on 80s entertainment. And I'm going to start, as always, in no particular order. Question 10. What all female cast sitcom premiered in 1985, lasting for 7 seasons? Was it A, A Different World, B, The Golden Girls, C, Murphy Brown, or D, Designing Women? I shall repeat. What all female sitcom premiered in 1985 and lasted for 7 seasons? A, Different World, B, Golden Girls, C, Murphy Brown, or D, Designing Women? And Jublik says, oh, a lot of people said D. But actually, those of you who said B are correct. It was the Golden Girls. Lisa Field says hi, everybody. Hi, Lisa. So glad you could make it to the show. You just missed the first question, but for you, I'm going to repeat it. This is question 10, and it's going to be on 80s entertainment. And the question is, what all-female sitcom premiered in 1985 and lasted for 7 seasons? Was it A, Different World, B, Golden Girls, C, Murphy Brown, or D, Designing Women? Now, Lisa has a chance to actually get in on the ground floor. And let's just see. A lot of people saying hello to Lisa, and how could you not? So great having Lisa with us. But in any event, for those of you who said B, yes, you are correct. It is, in fact, the Golden Girls. He says the IT department where are used to work, I'm guessing it was I used to work, where I used to work, had a bulletin board where they put I'm guessing that was where they put my typos. Forgive me, Keith, if I try to read the spirit of what you're writing, because I know Siri sometimes throws you a curveball. So I'm guessing that's what you were trying to say, where they put your typos. Big Guys 45 is here. He says, hello, friends. Been a long time. Yes, well, we're very glad you're with us tonight. And you're just in time for the trivia. We just started with question 10, which people have already answered. But I will now pick up with question 9. Oh, it's all 80s entertainment tonight, by the way. Which CBS News anchor retired in March of 1981? A, Walter Cronkite, B, Terry Drinkwater, C, Dan Rather, or D, Bob Schieffer? I shall repeat, even though Superflex already got it. Which CBS News anchor retired in March of 1981? A, Walter Cronkite, B, Terry Drinkwater, C, Dan Rather, or B, Bob Schieffer? And yes, you guys all got it. It was Walter Cronkite, the father of American commentators. And I shall now move on to question 8. What cop show starring William Shatner debuted in 1982? A, The Equalizer, B, Crime Story, C, Hill Street Blues, or D, T.J. Hooker? I shall repeat. What cop show starring William Shatner debuted in 1982? A, The Equalizer, B, Crime Story, C, Hill Street Blues, or D, T.J. Hooker? And it's so funny because when I finished reading the question, Lisa Fields says, hey, Cindy, D. And when I saw D, I'm like, and Lisa Fields got it right. And, well, no, she hadn't answered it yet. But yes, TJ Hooker or D is the answer, which also Cindy D got. So yes, so far you guys are doing pretty darn good, I'd say. So well, I'll now go on to question 7. Oh. Which Dallas character returned from the dead in 1986? Was it A, Clayton Farlow, B, Bobby Ewing, C, Jenna Wade, or D, Phyllis Wapner? I shall repeat. Which Dallas character returned from the dead in 1986? A, Clayton Farlow, B, Bobby Ewing, C, Jenna Wade, or D, Phyllis Wapner? And yes, everybody got it. They said it's B, Bobby Ewing. And do you know how they got that? They filmed that scene without anybody knowing it was going to be the twist ending of a Dallas episode. You remember this? He's in the shower, and he looks over at the camera, and he breaks the fourth wall, and he goes, "Good morning." And then they cut it for Dallas, but he pauses for a second and goes, "And you could have a good morning too with Zest soap." Yeah, they filmed it as a soap commercial, so nobody would actually gather that they had somehow brought him back from the dead. If you ask me, that was when Dallas started going down the tubes. It certainly continued going down the tubes, but that was certainly when Dallas went down the tubes. Oh, Big Ass 45 says, just curious, is anybody here On TikTok, I could really use the support. Now, as my original account was unfairly deleted a few days back ago. Um, do me a favor, big guys. My wife is constantly on TikTok. She loves it. She likes some of your old stuff. I remember showing her. Do me a favor. Post. I think everyone went past. Post your new channel's name in the comments below. I'll pass that on to my wife and anybody else who I know who does TikTok on the clock. DJ, blow my speakers up tonight. Sorry. I'm going to move on to question 6. Oh, I have to read this part. Sadidi says it jumped the shark. Then Thresh. That is a perfect way of describing it. Which of course is a reference to the really silly shtick they did in Happy Days, where Fonzie jumps a shark, for crying out loud. Big S 45 says my new account is Sparks Dude 1974. Sparks Dude 1974. I will pass that information on. Gary Cameron says I watched Dallas Dynasty, the Colbys, and Falcon Crest. I watched Dallas and Dynasty for a while. I don't recall watching the other two. I don't think I watched Falcon Crest for a while. Wait, no, I did. I did. The Vineyard. It was about the wine moguls. Yes, I did watch that. I don't recall watching the Colbys though. Emma says that's why most folks get a second and sometimes third account. Big guy, it happens a lot. Big guy says some moronic mods thought one of my posts was hateful and discriminatory and banned my account then and there, just like that. Wow. John Collins says, however, I actually believe that Jim Varney himself a smidge or 3 better at his craft than, say, Paul Rubens is because Jim Varney played so many characters within Ernest P. World universe, arguably. So he says Dallas was so over the top. Tug says 74 the year I was born. I was 7. Tracy says sorry I got knocked offline. Oh, well, ironically, the timing was weird. People are probably really sick of the story. When I moved my laptop, I accidentally kicked out my camera. So I wasn't buffering, I was out. I had to shut down and come back on. Um, but if you lost online as well, that was kind of because we were actually waiting for you to come back. So glad you did. You can certainly play for the second half of the trivia, and I play the first half in replay. But we're doing a trivia game on 80s entertainment. And hey, I'm just gonna have a splash of my polar soda. Speaking of polar bears, because I'm getting a little parched. Yeah, better. Okay, and I'm picking up, of course, with question 6. And it's what famous Wendy's catchphrase was first used in 1984 commercials? Was it "Who's hungry"? B, "Come on down"? C, "Where's the beef"? Or D, "Welcome home"? I shall repeat. What famous Wendy's catchphrase was first used in a 1984 commercial? Was it A, "Who's hungry"? B, "Come on down"? C, "Where's the beef"? Or D, "Welcome home"? And yes, everyone on the planet knew this one. It's still legendary. Whenever they do like compilations of 80s commercials, that one's always at the top. Hey, do you guys want to show scores? I'll tell you, I'm going to take one moment here, and if anyone would like to post their scores, please feel free. Oh, Mrs. Thresh just walked by. She says hi. Hi, Mrs. Thresh. Gary Cameron says Cindy, his father was Fernando, and his mom was Arlene Dahl. Oh, we're talking about. Oh, Will Jim says Cindy D. Lorenzo Lamas played Lance on Falcon Crest. Yes, I did know that. Lorenzo Lamas was on Falcon Crest, and President Reagan's first wife, Wyman, Jane Wyman. Yeah, she was on there as well, by the way. Did we? Hang on. Tracy says, I'd love to, but I would stop by. I gotta scat. I have a nice week, everybody. Tracy, I remember you said you weren't feeling well, by the way. I hope you feel better. So thank you for popping back in. And to say hi, and we're sorry we'll miss you, but please feel better, and we hope to see you real soon. Let's just see what else we got here. Um, Suplex is 4 of 5. Wajibin is 5 of 5. Tug is 5 of 5. Tom Henry is 4 of 5. Tug says, hey, Mrs. Thrash. Suplex says, hey, Mrs. Thrash. Johnny says, perfect score 5 of 5. I got them all, but I lost count. A lot of people saying goodnight to Tracy. Yes, Tracy, thanks for stopping by. Kenneth Wilkinson is 5 of 5. Tom Henry, it was Jane Wyman. Okay, thank you. I thought it was Jane Wyman. So yeah, thank you. Lisa Fields is 5 of 5. Well, you're certainly doing better with these than you are with mine. Lorenzo Lamas. Ted says Lorenzo Lamas was married to the real life daughter of his on screen mom, Abby Dalton. I did not know that. John Collins says, Bob, usually your quizzes are extremely difficult. This one is somehow insanely easy. What gives as relates to why this one is so easy. Okay, I'm going by trivia. I'm going by TV Guide, not me. Emily says, "Oh, 5 for 5." Emily, I'm very, very proud of you. Ted is 5 for 5. Lucy Field says Lorenzo Lamas was in Greece, the country of the movie. And Mrs. Thresh says peace. Is she leaving? Are you leaving me? Huh? Oh, she wasn't saying peace. She was saying she was saying Grease 2. Lorenzo Lamas was in Grease 2. We have fun. I thought she was leaving me. Big Guys 45 says Thrash Bonder TikTok was my alternate source of growing, and now I have to start all over again due to the unfair ban. My life stinks. Commiserations, lad. That does suck that they did that mean thing to you. Very sorry. Karen Lee Maloney says, hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. You are right on time for the second half of our trivia game. And this one, people are acing. I might have to make the questions harder. John Collins brought up a great point. Usually my questions are really, really tough. Today, I wouldn't say they're really easy, but people are getting like all of them. But anyway, I'm going to. Oh, Cindy says, sorry, my phone died. LOL. Shannon says, LOL, peace out, the marriage is over. But to be honest, that's how she'd do it. We wouldn't have some big fight or a long chat. She'd be like, you know what? Bye. But we have fun. We have fun. Tom Marie says, I think he was in Greece. He was a track athlete in the track scene. Yes. So that was Greece 1. That was Greece 1. I believe James Remar was in Grease 2. But no, Lorenzo Lamas was the boy that Cindy dates, Sandy, the boy that Sandy dates briefly while she and Zuko are split up. Gary Cameron says Max Caulfield was in Grease 2. I can't wait for Mrs. Thresh to come back in so I can tell her how wrong she was. And it's not even from me, it's from you guys. So you guys get to take the blame. I am euphoric. Gary Cameron says Frenchie was in both movies. That's right. Yeah, she was. She was. Kimberly Maloney says the names all going by so fast. Hi, um. Emily Miller is a big guy. I'm Emily B. 5911. I'm guessing that's her TikTok channel. And Denny Staten says, I actually saw a breakup fight on Carpetbagger's channel. Yep, they're getting a divorce now. But damn, that was an entertaining live stream. Wow, a couple actually broke up? Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. Sounds fun. Sean Innes says, I was just reading that James Remar was fired from Aliens. He was replaced by Michael Bain. Yes, yes, I heard that story too, and I'm trying to remember what the situation was. But yes, there was an issue. He was originally playing the Michael Bain character, and there was some issue at. But Lucifield says I have 2 posts on TikTok. Oh, excellent, excellent. And then says, I'll get you. My account is Big Guys 45 says to Emily Miller, I'll get you. My account is Sparks Dude 1974. Big Guy's account, he has a new one. It's Sparks Dude 1974. There, I've told her my job is done here. Tom Lemony says James Remar was in 48 Hours movie. Yes, he had a really good relationship with Walter Hill. I'm guessing as a result of him being in the Warriors. I can certainly see how that would have cemented their relationship. Gary Gabbard says Eve Arden was the assistant principal in Grease 2. Yes, she certainly was. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. I'm going back to my trivia game and the second tier, and I'm going to pick up with question 5. Who was the first guest on the premiere episode of the David Letterman Show? Was it A. Dan Aykroyd, B. Harold Ramis, C. Ernie Hudson, or D. Bill Murray? I shall repeat. Who was the first guest on the premiere episode of Late Night with David Letterman? A. Dan Aykroyd, B. Harold Ramis, C. Ernie Hudson, or D. Bill Murray? Oh, and that Dennis DeLeo is in the house. Hello, Dennis. Thank you for joining us. And he gave the correct answer of D. Bill Murray. And yes, Emily Miller, she was guessing, but she got it. Oh, Ken, sorry, no, it's D. Bill Murray. But a lot of you got it. It was kind of tricky though because they were, of course, all cast members from Ghostbusters. I'll just see. So John Bernstein just says Johnny Carson. I wasn't one of the guesses, but I love your enthusiasm. John, welcome to part 2 of the trivia game. I'm so glad you could join us. Everyone says that's cheating, Tug. But yes, in this case, it was Bill Murray, D. And Ziploc says that Letterman show was entitled Late Night, not David Letterman. All right, so I took a little license with the title. I said Late Night with David Letterman, but we quibble over terms. Daryl John says, hit the like button, please. Will that work? I'm sure it will. Why am I dying? Well, we are act accordingly. Question 4. What was MTV's first game show? Was it A, Singled Out, B, Beat the Geeks, C, Remote Control, or D, Truth of Squares? I shall repeat. What was MTV's first game show? A, Singled Out, B, Beat the Geeks, C, Remote Control, or D, The Truth of Square? Sean Innes guest Singled Out. That was one of their game shows, but that was a few years later. C, Remote Control, hosted by Ken Ober, who actually dated a friend of mine. I believe he was from Martha's Vineyard, somewhere on Cape Cod. Rest in peace, Mr. Ober. But yes, Remote Control is the correct answer. Gary Carpenter says yes. David Letterman has been on Johnny Carson. Question 3. The daily syndicated version of what quiz show premiered in 1984? A, The Price is Right, B, Jeopardy, C, Family Feud, or D, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I shall repeat. The daily syndicated version of what quiz show premiered in 1984? A, The Price is Right, B, Jeopardy, C, Family Feud, or D, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And a bunch of you have said Jeopardy, and that is wrong. You were supposed to say, what is Jeopardy? I'm sorry. The correct answer is, of course, B, Jeopardy. Family Feud was actually a good guess. I mean, well, Price is Right has been around forever, and Millionaire was substantially later. But Family Feud was a couple years earlier, but I could see why you would certainly think that. But yes, in this case, it was Jeopardy. Tom Murray's going, ha, 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 as is Emily Miller. Thank you, everybody, for laughing at that joke. Oh, Dennis Gittin says, the price is wrong, Bob. I love that scene in Happy Gilmore. No matter how many times I see you just actually posted it too in one of your shorts. No matter how many times I see Happy Gilmore, the scene where he fights Bob Barker, I'm in stitches. Dennis DeLeo says, you got us, Thrash. I've been saving that one. I'm glad I could actually get you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm glad you guys appreciate my humor. John Collins says, this quiz makes me feel like a genius, and my actual IQ is only 75, LOL. Oh, John, I'm sure it's higher than that. But at least it certainly seems that way in all the times you and I have spoken. So, but I'm glad you're doing well with the quiz today. Question 2. How many episodes of The Simpsons aired during the 1980s? A, 3, B, 2, C, 1, or D, the full season? I shall repeat. How many episodes of The Simpsons aired during the 1980s? A, 3, B, 2, C, 1, or D, the full season? Ooh, a lot of people guessing A or B. I don't know if you want guesses, come in. Oh, Todd raises an excellent point. I guess we're not counting the Tracy Ullman. No, the Simpsons, of course, first premiered during the Tracy Ullman show. They were bumpers for her commercial breaks. And no, I'm talking the full length TV show, not the Tracy Ullman blurbs. Thank you for mentioning that. I'll let anybody change their answer if they want. Teb says only one because it was the Christmas episode. And yes, Teb, you were 100% correct. You even got the right episode, and that was C. Only one episode, which is funny because they're so associated with the 80s. And only one episode of The Simpsons actually aired in the 80s. And again, that was in December of 1989. I used to know the exact date, but December of 89 was the only airing of a full length Simpsons episode. Just shows to go ya. Ellen says, I don't know, or IDK. Dumbrin says, I don't know, but you sunk my better ship. A hit. You've sank my better ship. Oh, and the number one question. What horror series premiered on HBO in 1989? A, The Hitchhiker. I shall repeat. What horror series premiered on HBO in 1989? Tales from the Crypt, B, Amazing Stories, C, Monsters, or D, The Hitchhiker? Tim says the premiere episode of The Simpsons roasting on an open fire, aired December 17th, 1989. Hopes and helps. That helped completely. that is all the information in a nutshell. Tom Lemley says there was a skit on Bob in the On Bob? Oh, I'm sorry. There was a skit where Bob was in the hospital and Adam came to visit him. Then they were fighting. Why am I not remembering that? Why am I remembering that? Oh, but moving forward, John Collins's Tales from the Crypt, and a lot of people were behind him, and that is the right answer. And John Burnham says Dark Shadows. I get it. Anytime you don't know the answer, you get something that actually isn't one of the selections. Love it, love it. Go big or go home. But yes, in this case, it was Tales from the Crypt. Although The Hitchhiker was also a series by HBO. Monsters, I think, was a regular network television, and there were so many great horror shows in the Amazing Stories is more sci-fi. But there were so many great anthology shows back in the 80s. It was really like just a great time. So where were we? So anyway, how about final scores now? You all did very, very, very. Oh, you're already giving them to me. Let's see what we got. Ken Wilkinson says he got 7 out of 10. Tug got 8 out of 10. Gary Carpenter got 9 out of 10. Shannon says 7 out of 10. Died in the second half. 70% is excellent. Emily Miller is 9 out of 10. Emily, peace. Awesome. Cindy D is 9 for 10. I said 89. That Christmas show was 89. Yes, and you are correct. It was 89. December 17th, as we recently found out. Carolyn Maloney got 2 out of 5. She showed up for the second half. Tug, 70 if you take out my cheat answer, LOL. We will leave in the cheat answer. Everyone gets one cheat answer per game. We're all friends here. Keith 7 out of 10. Excellent. Emily, same Cindy. Tom Emery says 8 out of 10 should have gotten the GG question right. Hey, things happen. Things happen. John Burns says I actually got one right. I'm sorry. I accidentally got one right. Very proud of you. Gary Cameron says, just give me the Addams Family and the Monsters anytime. You know, I should do that. I should do a trivia game, and I would have to do the originals, the 1960s TV shows, because I would want to go with canon and not other incarnations and things get off the rails. But I could do trivia games of the Monsters and Addams Family. That would actually be a lot of fun. I would just have to make sure they weren't too obscure. But would you guys get into that? If I did I don't know if I'd be able to squeeze out 10 questions from one show, but if I did Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie and The Monsters and the Addams Family and stuff like that. I could probably get 10 out of Star Trek. But the only problem with doing that is sometimes people didn't watch the one show and then they would have no fun. I'm sure there are people that watch the Monsters and not the Addams Family, or they watch the Addams Family and not the Monsters. So at least they could still participate that way. But let me know if you guys think that would be a way to go. Tug says, so if the first cheat is allowed, it isn't a cheat, so I can cheat a second time. Now that's cheating. Keith says, bonus question. Answer is Idaho. Oh, yes, yes. My infamous question. In what U.S. state is the post-apocalyptic film The Idaho Transfer set? I love questions like that. Okay, this is a true story. This is years ago. I was working with this kid. I want to say his name was Corey. Sweet, sweet, sweet kid, but bag of hammers, okay? And I would go into work and I would always ask like a trivia question. And some of my coworkers would get it and some wouldn't, and some would use their phone. This kid never got a question right. And one day he actually says to me, he goes, Bob, you got to ask easier questions. I never get a question right. And actually, I felt a little bad. So, okay, I got one for you. And I'm not making this up. And after I said it, I felt a little bad. I felt like I was insulting him. But the question is, Russian roulette is named after what Eastern European country? And he pauses for a second as if to think. And I think he's like just kind of being a wise guy, like, Tuffy. But no, he had to think for a second. He goes, France? I'm like, Corey, not only is France not an Eastern European country, but no, Russian roulette is named after Russia. Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking roulette. They always play roulette in France and all the James Bond movies. And I go, you mean Monte Carlo? Oh, yeah. Yeah, things kind of went downhill from there. I mean, guys, I try, but I can only work with what I got. Let's see. Telling that story, I kind of lost track of where I was. So I'm going to kind of scroll through. Gary Carpenter's the 60 shows. Yes, that would be what I would do. Um, Cindy D says both shows versus other shows, Thrash. Yeah, good. Okay, so you guys would like to see that. John Brennan says you could do It's All About Time or The New People. I've seen neither one of those shows. Oh, I take that back. I've seen a couple episodes of It's About Time on YouTube years ago. The New People I've only read about academically. I would. Is it? Does it even still exist? Because I would love to see it. It's right up my alley. Um, let's see. Gary Gabler says trivia questions for 2060s TV shows. 20 of them. Wow, that's a lot. Let's see what else we got. Tug says, well, the Philadelphia experiment doesn't actually take place in Philadelphia, so. Oh, Cindy D says Russia. Yes, yeah. John Collins says, something like that. 7 of 10, Bob. You're definitely someone who I would hang out with either at a bar or sober. You are a real life mix of Cliff Clavin and Norm Peterson. Wow, thank you. Actually, I take that as a huge compliment. That is meant as the highest praise. No, yes, I can actually see both. But thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Cindy D says LOL. I'm guessing in relation to the story I told. Sean says ouch. John Brady says yes. Russian dressing is American. It certainly is. So are French fries. There is a similar dish in France, but what we think of as French fries is actually very American. I believe it was invented by Nathan's Hot Dogs. Actually, they crinkled. They made the wedges in the potatoes before they deep fried them because they would fry faster that way. Starlog, another like, hey Starlog, so glad you could make it. Les James says, guys, it's been a long live stream day. See you guys real soon. Bye, folks. Hey, thank you for coming by, Lance. You've been an absolute godsend today. A lot of people saying goodnight to Lance. Shannon says pommel fritas. I say that wrong, by the way, but yes, yeah, pommel fritas. Emily says, speaking of sci-fi, I finally watched the Picard finale today. Tug says, I think you mean freedom fries. Why, we're at war with France? You know they changed the name of the Frankfurt to the Liberty Pup during World War One. And Berlin, Vermont actually voted on whether or not to change its name. Come on. Zublik says, so the hamburger, even though Hamburg is in the name. I never really thought of that one. John Burns says the only question Jughead missed on the history test was when was the War of 1812? Well, here's one for you. How long did the 100 Years' War last? No, 116 years. I got you. I do like the how long did the 6 Days War last? Oh, about a week. Gary Garman says French toast isn't French. It certainly isn't. Big Guy 45 says I am back. John Bernstein says French fries are Belgian. Yeah, but there's a French dish where they're almost like cottage potatoes, where it's like sliced potatoes, and they fry them with garlic oil and onions. It's good. It's good. Emily Miller says absolutely not Tug. I'm not sure what Tug says, but the answer is absolutely not. Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Shana says autocorrect made poem into pommel. Yeah, I didn't think there was an L at the end. Mon grand-mère vit Québec. Mi petit parler français ami. And I remember French fries were les pommes de terre. And pardon my French is hideous. Or should I say, pardon mi français is. Jenny Skin says, if it wasn't for us, England would be speaking German. We almost did speak German. Actually, they were considering making German the national language of America during the Revolutionary War. Biggest 45 says to Thrash Pondo specifically, remember my new TikTok account is called Sparks Dude 1974. Will do. Dennis DeLeo says, where was the French kiss invented, Thrash? The backseat of my car when I was in high school. Mrs. Thrash didn't hear that one. Gary Cameron says DS or Irish. John Collins says no big. It ain't no big thing. Tug says it's a fair replay to many things I say. Reply to many things I say. Yeah, I saw that as I was reading. Emily Miller says Dennis. I was wondering the same thing. Gary Cameron says what did the French see in Jerry Lewis? Hey. Cindy D says the millennium is actually 2021, not 2000. Metro Nerd Girl says hi, Thrash Bondo and his friends in the chat. RNG, I'm so glad you could make it. By the way, I've missed so many of your chats because of my new work schedule. It's killing me, but one of the worst parts is not being able to get to your live chats. Guys, she's been doing some amazing stuff with watch-alongs and whatnot. Danny, if you could, to RNG, thank you so much for coming by. We're probably going to be shutting down in a little bit, but I want to thank you very, very, very much for joining us tonight. Shannon says, my French is hideous too, LOL. My German is adequate. Bitte, meine Deutsch ist kaputt. Let's just see. Everyone's saying hello to RNG, and Danny has given her a link. Thank you so much. Big Guy says, Retro Nerd Girl, hi, by the way. Are you on TikTok? I'll follow you there. Dennis DeLeo says, Emily, I fed him that line. Yes, he certainly did. Daryl Jones says, hit the like button. Emily Miller says, I need Spanish lessons. I'm the idiot who took French in high school. Perdón, mi español es muy malo. ¿Dónde eres, Birmingham? Muchas personas en Birmingham hablan español. Tug says she did a great one on Bakaru Banzai yesterday, which I still have to see. Gary Gamer says, I flunked Spanish. John says, French is the most difficult language to speak. It's hard to enunciate when someone else's tongue is in your mouth. John Collins says, Bob, you're such a good conversationalist. Do you ever get in trouble at work for holding rousing discussions so much so that you forget to pour customers their liquid courage or give them their victuals? Earlier on in my career, one of the things I did have to learn, was to balance customer service and operational effectiveness. Sometimes did get carried away engaging with customers, but it's a balancing act. So, but thank you for asking. Yes, because I can fall into that trap. Terrell Eugene Dolan says, what's your favorite horror sequel of all time? Favorite horror sequel? Ooh, that's a really good question because I have a lot of favorite horror movies, but my horror movie sequel, if you consider this the sequel, I would go with Return of the Living Dead being a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. I do love Dawn of the Dead, but I really loved Return of the Living Dead, and I would say that that would be my favorite sequel. Anyone else? Any other takers? Richard Nerdgirl says, hi, Emily Miller, Danny State. No, she's saying hello to everybody. And who said hello to her, which is pretty much everyone. As it looks says Grease too, Terrell. Emily Miller says, leaving us, Tom? Tug says, Aliens. I thought you didn't like Aliens. Oh, No. Oh, I can't say. There's another movie sequel that you didn't like. So I will leave that at the moment. Oh, Shauna says Evil Dead 2. That's a great answer. Cindy D says I still want to hear some of your restaurant stories, Thresh. Maybe a quiz on what we should know about the business. Ooh, I can do that. I can do that. I think somewhere I have a top 10 list of things servers hate. So many people have done it. You know what? The one thing we really, really, really hate is um, everyone says they don't stack the plates. No, I love it. I love it when people pre-bus for us. They just walk by and grab the stack and keep going. And sometimes they're a little haphazard, so you have to kind of balance them a little bit. But anything you could do to speed up the process for us is great. What I really, really, really hate is um, servers put things down sometimes in front of people where there's room. Like I know the drink is supposed to go here and the entree here and the bread plate here. Yeah, we know all these things, but sometimes there's just no room. So you put the bottle down, and then you go to put something else here. And as you're putting something else down, they move the bottle because I don't want it where you put it. I want it here. That's great. Let me get everything onto your table, and then you can play Tetris or Risk or whatever you're playing with the stuff I leave you to your heart's content. Let me get it on the table. If I'm going to put stuff down and you're moving things, I shouldn't have to worry about the landing zone when I'm dropping food. But more later. Like I said, I'll try to see if I can dig the list out. And oh, I see. She was saying good night to Tom, and now she's saying, another saying, just kidding, sticking around. Let's just see what else we got going on here. Ziplik says T-Pond ruined Mel Gibson for all of us. I think that's a little harsh. I think Mel Gibson ruined Mel Gibson for everyone. I think I did more to ruin the Rocky franchise, but that's another story. RNG says, Tug, I can't wait to hear about your feelings on T2. Yeah, that was when I was tap dancing around. That sounds like a lot of fun. Cindy D says, thanks, Thresh. Interesting. Well, you're very, very welcome. And I do have some great stories. I might do them as shorts. Denny Skaten was suggesting I do more shorts. I could do like 20, 30-second funny anecdotes. Like this one. I was working in the Olive Garden. This is years ago. And I had finished waiting on these two ladies. And I noticed they were still sitting after I dropped the check. And I go, can I help you? And they go, we're waiting for our mints. You didn't give us mints. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, we're out. And they went, okay. About 15 minutes later, I come back around. I know it's just still there. And I go, did you change your mind about dessert? And they go, no, we're still waiting for those mints. I'm like, they're on a truck in South Nashua. They'll be here by 9 o'clock. That's a little longer than a short, but you see where I'm going with this. Zubik says, I want to know how T-Pons deals with drunks. There must be some very interesting stories there. That's all in the finesse. Have I had to actually physically throw people out? Not in years, but I have done. There's a couple cute stories there. But yeah, the trick is to be non-confrontational with the drunk, but not acquiescent. Sometimes, if you're too nice to the drunk, they take it as weakness, and that you're trying to placate them because you're afraid of them. And if a drunk thinks you're afraid of them, that's when they become a problem. So again, there's a certain amount of finesse there. But of course, the real trick is to not get them drunk in the first place, because ABC serving laws don't want you to overserve people, because then they get behind the wheel and well, other bad things happen. But yeah, I've had to deal with my share of drunks over the years. Sometimes they come in drunk, and I have some great stories there. Yeah, so that might make a good one. Ted says, do you remember when Charlie Weaver, the curmudgeonly character, famously played by Cliff Arquette, the patriarch grandfather of the Arquette acting dynasty? Yeah, I used to watch him on Hollywood Squares. He was a riot. He's the one who he had Gil Gibbons over for breakfast, and he ate his coffee table. Said it reminded him of Wild Hickory Nuts. For some reason, I thought that was the funniest thing I ever heard as a kid. And let's just see. John Collins says, Bob, since you are a resident historian, I've been watching a lot of Malcolm X footage lately. He was a powerful expositor. Question: did Louis Farrakhan directly uh, directly the position which Malcolm X held? I wouldn't say directly. He certainly filled the niche. Oswald says, if T Pons gets too rough with drunks, he risks getting fired. A balancing act. Um, no decent establishment would ever fire somebody for coping with a drunk. They will always back you. Because the drunk is an issue on so many levels. It's like, I don't know if you guys heard about this. Apparently, there were some drunks that were shut off by their bartender, and they tried to sue, and it was thrown out of court. And if anyone ever successfully sues a bartender for shutting them off, they would the industry would crash. It would be unsustainable because you wouldn't be able to shut people off. Um, the way it's said best is, well, it's only a customer service issue. No one has the right to alcohol. So shutting them off is purely at the discretion of the bartender. Um, Dennis Kid says, I was a bouncer. I just picked them up by the ears, led them to the door. I'm 6'4", and at the time was about 380 pounds. No, I can certainly see you do that. I never was able to pick them up, but I always managed to get them out. And I broke up a few fights too, by the way. I imagine you had a much easier job doing it than I did. Gary Carpenter said, I had a friend that was a bouncer in a club. It's actually kind of fun if you can get the work. Emilio said, I also got a $22 tip from a drunk. He didn't realize it though. Emilio says, my wife was a bouncer. I want to go drinking with your wife. She seems like she'd be like fun to go drinking with. Dennis DeLeo says, Farrell, I have a Charlie Weaver. Oh, Daryl, I think he means I have a Charlie Weaver mechanical bartender toy from 1960. Still works. Wow, that is so cool. So cool. Um, as I look at the time, though, guys, I see that we're coming up on the hour and a half mark. I've had so much fun tonight. I want to thank you for your good humor and aplomb with the technical problems we had. I want to thank everybody for their participation. I'm really glad you enjoyed the trivia game. I might do another one from this later on down the road, although I do like the idea of doing the compare and contrasts to other 60s TV shows. I might do that with some other shows as well. Dave Sundstrom is here. Dave, you're here just in time for us all to say good night. I'm so sorry. We were just wrapping up. But hey, Dave, thank you so much for joining. Sorry, I'm late. More than understand. We all had a very big day. Danny, be a dear. Give Dave Sundstrom a link for. Now, I'm certain every single one of you have Dave Sundstrom's channel already locked and loaded, but just in case you don't. And Dave, thank you so much for coming by tonight. OCD says, thank you, Thresh. Quick, harder questions, LOL. Yes. Everybody, Dave, I took a page from you tonight, and I borrowed questions from this TV guide book of trivia. Dennis Leo says, thanks, Thresh. Lights out from the Bronx. A lot of people saying hello to Dave, RNG, of course, being one of them. Zulik says, this is T-Pon's third live stream today. Yeah, but I was only on camera for two of them. I get to skate through Dave's. But yes. Dave says, I can't wait to play the trivia. Yes, please play and replay and let me know how you did. John Collins says, and of course, unless I'm wrong, if the patrons are overserved and they have caused injury and they cause injury from driving, isn't serving establishment at risk? I've been thought of this part of causation. Actually, you can be liable. You can be liable. Oh, John Doe is here. He says, hello, Thresh. Hello, John. So glad you could make it. Sadly, we are kind of wrapping up. It's the 9 o'clock hour, but thank you so much for coming by. Those of you guys who just sailed in, don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not. I'm sure you've already subscribed. MMO says, I think that depends on the state, John. Most states, there's some level of culpability. In some states, it might be easier to prove than others. But in Massachusetts, where I live, the establishment can definitely be held responsible. There are some discrepancies, like there's an intervening act. There was a case years ago. There was some particularly nasty story of a woman who was drunk driving with a baby in the car. The problem was there was about a 5 hour period in between the incident and the last ring she was served at the establishment. She tried to sue the establishment, and they go, "It's been 5 hours. You could have gone to 8 other places. You could have gone home and polished off a 12 pack. You could have gone to a friend's house and stolen a bottle of whiskey." There were too many intervening factors, so they couldn't prove that it was the alcohol she had gotten from the past establishment. But Emily, you are correct. It does depend on the state. But that being said, guys, thank you all for coming by tonight. I so enjoy these. I'm so glad I've been able to continue the live streams in this Sunday format. So glad so many of you guys could make it. Glad you enjoyed the trivia game. Glad you enjoyed my fellowship. And it seems like I will be doing a live stream with Ian tomorrow night, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Those of you who can make it. If not, be good, be safe, be careful. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. And yes, I will have another live stream next Sunday. So until then, peace.